Okay, why don't you start by naming the police department and then tell me what happened?
Okay, it's the Los Angeles Police Department. Uh, I guess it's the 77th Street Division. And what happened was my fiance, Michael McCullen, um, last night he was walking in the Nickerson Garden Project. And a situation had occurred in the project where the police were looking for some boys, but it had nothing to do with him at all. So they were, he had on headphones and he had a hoodie over his head, and he was walking and he was listening to music on his sidekick when one of the officers kept trying to get his attention. And there's a lot of witnesses and even a video to attest to this. Okay, but one of the officers were trying to get his attention, but he had his hoodie, like I said, and earphones on, so he couldn't hear. So one of the officers got out and grabbed him from the back. So then he turns around and like pushes the officer away from him. And several officers, including that officer, proceed to jump him, jump on him. They hit him with the flashlight, throw him against the wall, beat him, drag him, stump him, rip his clothes, like his nose was bleeding. They was kicking him in the mouth. His eyes, like one of his eyes is shut. He had to be taken to do a CT scan because like they believe that he could have had internal bleeding, so they want to keep a close watch on that. One of his eyes is completely shut. His nose looks fractured. His lip is busted. He can barely speak. Like he's like slurred in his speech. His leg is really messed up. And
How many officers? Hold on. How many officers attacked your boyfriend? If you know.
Six.
6 officers, and they were all from 77th. They were all from 77th Division.
They were all LAPD. I don't want to. I'm not. I can't be sure if they were all from the same division. But from what I was told, 77th Street. But I can't be sure.
Well, I'm familiar. I'm familiar with 77th Division. I've done a number of investigations of that precinct in LAPD. Let me ask you a few additional questions. You said that there was video. Who shot the video, and how did they obtain the video?
Okay, well, as I was telling you, where this occurred, when they first grabbed him, it was a lot of people outside, and how it was where they were chasing some boys. Michael wasn't running because he wasn't even really paying attention to what was going on. So because he wasn't running, they wanted to stop and question him, but they kept trying to get his attention. He had on his earphones, so it was a lot of people outside. So when the whole thing, the commotion started taking place, he then started yelling to people, everybody pull out your phones, pull out your phones, pull out your cameras. So it was a lot of eyewitnesses, and then that's how different people were pulling out their camera phones and, getting what they can, taping what they could.
So everybody who had a cell phone that was around there was trying to get video to record what the police were.
Well, I know of one for sure tape that is recorded, but allegedly there's others. But I can only speak of what I know for sure is.
Okay, who's the person that has the tape, and have they given you a copy of it yet?
We're currently trying to obtain the copy of the tape. His mother is trying to do all that. Oh, and that brings me to the second part. His mom then went, and his brothers witnessed it too, or whatever. Then his mom and them, and then went to the scene, and they was asking them, what happened, whatever, why you guys do that to my son, and what happened. They was like, no, your son wasn't involved, but your son he's being held at the 77th Street, and they're charging him with assaulting an officer. They're saying that he headbutted an officer, and the officer's head was bleeding. But Michael said that, and all the witnesses attested, and we have like their names and numbers. They said that the police officer headbutted him, and he has big knots all on his head, like big knots, and like gashes and stuff on his head.
Okay.
And they said that he headbutted him. They threw him against the wall. They started beating him, stumping him out. You could see in his shirt the prints, like marks from shoes.
Mm-hmm.
His shirt is ripped, all his clothes is ripped. There's blood on his pants. I went to see him, and that's another issue. They were supposed to take him to St. Francis. All today they were telling us they were taking him to St. Francis. He told me when I went to go see him that he wasn't taken to St. Francis. He was taken to Company of Mary, and then the doctor was like, he could possibly have brain damage. Let's just hope not. But they can't really tell until the swelling goes down some. Because he's swollen really bad, and one of his eyes he can't even open.
How old is your boyfriend?
He's 21.
He's 21. Okay, so let me make sure I have this straight. And I'm familiar with Nickerson Gardens. Have family that live there, so I know the area. So
Yeah.
he's walking through Nickerson Gardens, and
Yeah, he's on his exact location that this took place was 1474 East 112th Street.
okay, I know exactly where that is. And as he's walking through, he's not committing any crimes. He's minding his own business.
No, he has on headphones.
So
And even the officers, when we went down there last night, they said he wasn't the one they was looking for. No, he didn't have anything to do with what they was looking for. But when they pulled him to stop him, he yanked away. But they're saying that he headbutted an officer. But all the witnesses are saying that is not how that happened. He I mean, if you're from the project, then you should know people die over there every day. If somebody pull you from behind,
mm-hmm.
you gonna turn around. You're not gonna know. You know what? It's not like you can hear. You got earphones on.
Yeah.
So
No,
and they. I'm sorry, but the people were saying that he kept raising his hands like, "I'm not resisting arrest. I'm not resisting arrest," and they kept kicking him in his mouth. And like some part of his tooth, like one of his part of his tooth, like came up. Like if you just see it, it's like something that you really will have to go and see him. And that's another part of the story. Okay, so when I finally saw him in the jail, they were trying not to let me see him. They kept telling me, "Oh, he's not here, he's not here." I said, "No." The watch commander said he's been brought back from the hospital already and that he is here. Last night they were trying to do the same thing, like give the runaround. They didn't. They was like, "Oh, he's not at 77." But come to find out, he was, and his family had to stay there for 2 hours. Like until they even like said that, "Oh yeah, he is here," and they tried to do me like that today too. They're like, "Oh, he's not here." I was like, "Yes, he is here."
Okay. Let me tell you a couple things. Most of the time, when we take a case that has this much difficulty and issues, we are going to charge fees. I'm going to waive all of our fees, and we're going to take this case pro bono. I believe you. I think that what you're telling me is a serious complaint, and we want to help you. So what I want you to do is make sure that you tell his family that they can rely on policeabuse.com to help them, and there's not going to be any charges for what we're doing. But I do need for you to start doing some work if you want to both protect his rights and get the officers who did this guilty.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, my voice not accident.
That's all right.
Enter your sorry. Please try again later.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't.
But now let me ask you: have you had complaints against this police station before?
I've been arrested by LAPD, so I know exactly what they're capable of. There are some good officers there, but they have a large number of officers who are completely out of control. And when I say I was arrested, it was it was a false arrest, and the charges were dropped. So I know what you're talking about. What I will tell you is that if they did the things that you described, there may be criminal charges against the officers. Let me tell you what you need to do next, though. Okay? All right. First.
Before you tell me that, wait 1 second. That was another point that when his mother, because they wouldn't tell me anything, they're like, "You guys are not legally married yet." Okay, when his mother called to get the arresting officer's name, they refused to give it to her. So even when we went up there, they was like, "No, we're not going to give you that. We're not obligated to give you that." So how I changed the arresting officer's name off of his sheet. He had this little pink paper, so I was like writing it down while I was visiting him.
Okay, good for you. Let me tell you some things that you're going to need to do. Now, obviously, they're stalling you guys and giving you the runaround. First thing you need to do is you need to get someone in there who's got power of attorney, or have him sign a waiver of a power of attorney so that someone can operate on his behalf, be that you, his mom, or somebody. So you can download a power of attorney form on the internet. Just type it into Google, get a power of attorney form, and get that into him so he can sign it. And then once he signs it, they won't be able to tell you no, because you'll be operating on his behalf with his legal authority. All right?
Okay.
Second thing, you guys are going to need an attorney. We don't supply attorneys, but we will supply you with investigators that will help you with the case. And I'm going to tell you that the most important thing for you to do right now is to get the names of the witnesses who saw what happened. Okay? Next after that is you need to get photographs of him. There are probably going to be booking photos that they may have not taken booking photos because they don't want the injuries that he has to be